Some of the most popular videos on this channel are about classic gear like Coleman stoves and especially Dietz lanterns. So here's a follow-up video about how to maintain and care for these great lanterns. There's a bonus announcement at the end you might also find interesting. I'm Dean, and this is the Alberta Bushcrafter channel. If you're a follower of this channel, you'll know that I absolutely love Dietz lanterns. They throw a decent amount of light, they can run for a very long time, and if you check the other videos at the end of this one, you'll also see that, you know, they're great for emergencies and power outages as well. But simple as they are, Dietz lanterns still require a bit of attention from time to time. So the best way to learn this is to take one of these apart and have a look. Now, be careful. If your lantern looks like this, you're going to want to put on a pair of gloves because the soot from these can be very messy. And get some paper towels for sure. I like clear or blue gloves because if you get soot on them, and it shows up and you can clean it up before you touch something else, and literally anything else. So here we go. How to tear down just about any kerosene or oil lantern. Step 1, remove the fuel. Now for this step, I like to grab a spare container and give this a swirl to loosen any particles and then dump out the fuel. Kerosene is very smelly stuff. Also, when you do that, check the cap. There's a little rubber seal on the back side here, and if the cap is tough to remove or it leaks, sometimes your best bet is to buy a replacement cap to fix this. Sometimes you can also soak it for a few hours in vinegar, and that'll soften it up too. So here we go. Not much fuel left in this one. But you always do this before you do anything else. There we go. Fuel cap aside. Another thing, when you're filling, it's nice to get one of these little Coghlan's fuel funnels. It's got a little filter inside. Very handy. Out of the way. Step number 2 is test the lighting lever before opening the lantern. So this is a little on the this is a little on the squeaky side. So check for friction. Check for friction. And then you can actually hit this with a bit of WD-40, and that's probably the only time you use anything like that on a lantern. But yeah, hit that with WD-40 and you're going to be good. Going to get this ready for step 3. Step 3, remove the globe. So pop the top, and that is just like this. You take the little hanging loop, you take the handle, like so. It's only going to come out one way. So look at that. This is actually what happened. I had a wick go on me, and it just took about 20 seconds to get this black. So the reason I do it that way is there's a lot less fussing, and it's literally like you've got a third hand here. So you tilt out the globe like I did, you remove it and put it aside right here. Step number 4 is remove the burner. So first, got this, check the operation. So check the operation of the wick, so you can actually remove this. There it is itself, and the wick is actually out on this one. This is where you want to put paper towels down for sure. All right, so in this case, there's a lot of, I think, burnt up bugs and things like that in this wick. So you just again insert it here, give it a quick turn, give it a couple of quick turns, and it should engage, there we go, it should engage the wick. Now this one, a little sideways, but yeah, there we go. Again, this is where you want the gloves. Kerosene is nasty, stinky stuff. But that is it. That's the teardown for the lantern. Like I said, now it's time to treat each of these, and you're going to be very glad you put the gloves on. So here's how to treat each part. So first off, the body. Now for this, we'll start with this. You can give it a quick wipe down with just a dry cloth or a damp rag if it's just dusty. Now you can use dish soap and water. I'm not a huge fan of that. You can use mineral spirits for stubborn stains and scrub them out with an old toothbrush. But my favorite for this is actually Windex. That's because the ammonia in Windex or any generic window cleaner like this really cuts all the soot and the smoke residue. So some people, this is where I said before, some people use WD-40 to clean this up. I find the oil in that can attract dust really easy. Others use gasoline. I don't recommend it because it's smelly and volatile. All right, so we're going over this. We're giving this a really good cleaning. And again, the Windex. I like to spray it right on the rag rather than onto the lantern itself. This is mostly just dusty, this one. But make sure you get these guys in here, like in the on the tubes. Dirt loves to collect them. So I'll just get in there, and I'm not going to make you sit through this, but yeah, you get the idea. Next, the chimney. So check the chimney. Here's where a can of WD-40 will help. You want to make sure it moves up and down freely or the lantern won't open. Now I'll give this a wipe as well, and you'd be really surprised right away how black this can get. And I'm getting soot all over me, a little bit to get rid of, but here we go. So clean it in there. Don't turn it too much because there are springs in here and you can disengage them, and boy are they tough to get back on. All right, so a little bit there, and I'll push it up a bit. I like to get under the cap because this is where it really gets bad. Yeah, you see what I mean? Imagine that on your nice expensive nylon hiking pants or something like that. The problem is with soot is that it's both carbon and it is kerosene residue. It's fuel residue. So this stuff isn't just dirty, it's sticky. So again, you're very glad you wore some gloves. This one actually, off camera, I gave it a bit of a scrub with a nylon brush, but again, I've got bits out. Now, the next thing to check is the burner. Now here is the burner. You can see it advances the wick up and down. That's all it does. There's a little slightly roughened, well, little roller in here. These are pretty simple. Now, keep checking to see if it moves freely. This is just fine. As you can see, it's really boogieing along here. Now, if it doesn't advance the wick, it could be that roller's worn out. It may need a bit of cleaning. But the other thing is, it may be time to shop for a replacement. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of the white paper towels as much as I should be. I should be using the blue shop towels on these because these are a little more, again, a little more absorbent. Those shop towels fall apart less. Also though, as long as you get the burner out, these are pruning shears, you can use scissors, but what you want to do is trim the wick while you got it out. So it is, got a little bit there to trim, so it is perfectly flat with the top of the burner. Now, as I've said in another video, trimming it straight across is still best, and if the wick's very short and not reaching the bottom of the fount, that's this tank here, now's the time to replace the wick. Also check the burner cap, this thing here. If it's loose, all you need to do is bend these little tabs a little bit. Sometimes you need some pliers. But then once you're done, you can put that back into the lantern. You can see there's actually a little cutout here where the actual wick adjuster goes in. So it's not going to work any other way. You may have to fiddle with it a bit, but it should go in pretty easily, like so. See, it's not going anywhere. Next, you want to clean and dry the globe, and look at this one. It is black as coal, black as soot. So this is actually where dish soap and water works really well, but I find actually Windex works even better. Be sure you dry anything you use, be sure you dry it well as well, because that dirt, residue can attract soot. So I usually start with the outside. I always hold it with a paper towel or with gloves, because that gives you a better grip. And these things are easy to pick up online, but if you break one, you won't be happy. And they take a while to get to you. But look at that, it's cleaning up already. Now for this one, I'm getting in there with the actual Windex. And you don't want to know what's coming out on my work table here. It's very, very black. Yeah. See what I mean about the gloves? Yeah, I'm going to use find a clean spot on these and clean that off before I finish this globe. But yeah, it gets very messy very quick, and you bet you're going to touch something. If you don't wear the gloves, you're going to touch something. You wind up with soot on your face or anywhere. Now this is cleaner, and look at the difference. You can actually see the Dietz logo on it. This is clean. Alright, after a fair bit of work, the globe is done. You can see the logo. So what you do now is you go to the lantern, you snug that in, make sure that the logo is facing downward for this, and up you go. Just make sure that mates properly. There you have it. One very nice Dietz lantern. This one, you'll see the top's a little crooked. That got banged. It actually got knocked right off and fell on there, but that shows you how durable these lanterns are. Now let's have a peek. Yeah, everything's where it needs to be. Wick is good. Now the last thing is the fuel. That's where this little filter funnel comes in handy, because I actually can see right now there's a bit of floaty bits here. Now this fuel is a combination of tiki torch fuel and kerosene. I just wanted to cut the kerosene a bit because it's expensive stuff. But there we are. Remember, your wick is still soaked in kerosene, even though a lot of it's on the paper towel here. And there you go. So, filter out, funnel out, place the cap, and we are all good. And now we're going to light this thing. You can see it's a little squeaky. This is a very old lantern. This is about 15 years old. We're going to light it. Keeping the globe clean is quite easy. See what it's doing there? You can see it smoking. Don't let it do that. So you just keep the wick adjusted so you just get as much bright orange flame as you can. You can see on the top of this, it's going a little dark orange. That's where you get soot. If the flame's too high, you're going to darken up this globe really, really quick. But here we go. This is the Dietz lantern. It's quite a beauty for 15 years old. Pretty easy, right? All right, now here's the announcement I was talking about earlier. Amazon recently invited me to become an Amazon influencer. That means I've got a curated storefront on Amazon now. The link is down in the description. What's really cool about it is, though, that I've actually created a couple dozen categories for different outdoor items, and some of them are pretty big, but I've also created a specific category just for Dietz lanterns. And there you're going to find many different models, spare wicks from little ones to the big rolls, spare burners, as I mentioned earlier, and a lot of other spare parts. So right now, my most complete store is on the US site. Having some issues with the Amazon Canada site, so it's still in progress. I expect at some point I'm going to put in a UK site as well. So check that out in the comments below. And while I'm at it, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Keep it polite. And thanks for watching. I'm Dean. This is the Alberta Bushcrafter channel. Take care and good day.